Hello everyone, and welcome back. I am so grateful you have joined me today, and I can't wait to dive into something that has the power to change your life. There is a truth that every man must come to understand. He was never meant to walk this journey alone. From the very beginning, the Creator looked at man standing by himself and declared, "It is not good." That was not a mistake, nor was it an oversight. It was a divine revelation that man without the right woman is incomplete. Men have been designed with vision, strength, and purpose. But purpose without the right helper can turn into toil. You see, a woman is not an afterthought. She is the missing piece in a man's destiny. She is the multiplier of his vision, the nurturer of his seed, and the balance to his strength. A man might build a house, but it takes a woman to make it a home. A man might have a dream, but it takes a woman to breathe life into it. Leadership was never about walking alone. True leadership is about guiding with wisdom, protecting with love, and building with partnership. But when a man isolates himself, he starts to drift. Without the influence of a woman's wisdom, he can become consumed by pride, driven by reckless ambition, or lost in his own thoughts. He may achieve success, but who will celebrate with him? He may gain wealth, but what is the value of riches with no one to share them with? A woman's presence brings accountability. She refines a man's character, challenges his complacency, and nurtures his potential. Without her, a man may reach a level of accomplishment, but he will never reach the depth of fulfillment. You see, a man without a woman is like a king. Without a kingdom, he may wear the crown. But there is no one to build with him, no one to extend his legacy. He may carry strength, but without wisdom, that strength can become destructive. Every man must come to understand that rejecting partnership is not a sign of strength. It is a sign of misunderstanding his own design. The greatest men in history, the most successful leaders, all had one thing in common: the presence of a woman who believed in them, nurtured them, and challenged them to be better. So, to every man listening, do not be deceived into thinking that independence is the highest form of power. True power is knowing how to embrace the right partnership. True wisdom is understanding that your success is not just about what you can do alone, but about what you can build together. A woman is not your competition. She is your completion. And when you walk in that truth, you unlock a life of meaning, purpose, and legacy. From the beginning of time, man was never created to exist in isolation. His design, his purpose, and his potential were always meant to function within the framework of partnership. A man alone may have strength, but strength without balance leads to instability. He may have vision, but vision without the right support turns into frustration. The very essence of his being cries out for connection, for companionship, for the missing piece that completes his existence. A man's success is not measured by what he accomplishes alone, but by what he builds and sustains over time. Without the right partnership, his achievements can feel hollow, his victories empty. He may stand tall in the world's eyes, yet deep within, there remains a void that neither wealth, power, nor recognition can fill. There is an internal yearning, an unspoken need, a silent search for something greater than personal ambition. Every man, no matter how gifted or strong, has blind spots, areas in his life he cannot see, weaknesses he refuses to acknowledge, and burdens he was never meant to carry alone. He may attempt to suppress this reality, believing that independence equates to strength, but in truth, isolation only magnifies his struggles. Without a counterpart, he may find himself lost in his own thoughts, weighed down by unspoken battles, and disconnected from the fullness of life. There is a divine structure to human existence, a design that speaks to the need for completeness. A man was never designed to be self-sufficient in every aspect of life. His true power is not in his ability to stand alone, but in his willingness to embrace what he lacks, to recognize his need for balance, and to walk in the fullness of what he was meant to be. A woman was never created as an afterthought, nor was she designed to be secondary in purpose. She was formed with intention, crafted to be the missing piece in a man's journey. Her role as a helper is not about subservience, but about partnership, not about weakness, but about strength, expressed in a different form. She carries a unique ability to see beyond what is present, to nurture what is yet to come, and to refine what is still in the process of becoming. A man may have a vision, but without a woman's wisdom, that vision can remain unstructured and incomplete. She has the innate ability to bring clarity where there is confusion, to multiply what is given to her, and to provide insight that transforms mere ideas into lasting realities. Where a man builds, she beautifies. Where he plants, she nurtures growth. Where he leads, she influences. Her presence does not diminish his role, but rather amplifies it, ensuring that his strength is not wasted and his efforts are not in vain. Her influence extends beyond physical support. She's an emotional anchor, a source of stability in times of uncertainty. She carries the power to uplift, to encourage, to remind a man of who he is when the weight of life makes him forget. In moments of weakness, she sees his strength. In times of failure, she speaks to his potential. Her words have the power to restore confidence, to reignite purpose, and to push a man beyond his limitations. She was never meant to compete with him, but to complete him. Her presence is not a threat to his leadership, but a gift that enhances his ability to lead effectively. She is the difference between striving and thriving, between movement and progress, between existence and fulfillment. True leadership is not about standing alone at the top. It is about walking effectively with the right support. A leader who refuses partnership limits his own growth. For leadership is not just about direction, but about collaboration. Strength without wisdom can be reckless, and vision without counsel can be misguided. No man was designed to carry the weight of leadership alone, and the greatest leaders in history were those who understood the value of partnership. A man may have the ability to lead, but his leadership reaches its highest potential when it is supported, nurtured, and sharpened by the right partner. Leadership requires balance, and without the presence of a strong and supportive woman, a man may struggle with emotional, mental, and even spiritual equilibrium. He may make decisions based purely on logic, missing the deeper insights that come from emotional intelligence. He may focus solely on goals, forgetting the importance of relationships. A partner helps refine his leadership, ensuring that his direction is not only strong, but also meaningful and impactful. Partnership in leadership is not about control, but about enhancement. A woman does not weaken a man's leadership. She strengthens it. She provides perspective where there is limitation, wisdom where there is uncertainty, and encouragement where there is doubt. Her ability to see beyond the immediate moment allows a leader to navigate challenges with clarity. Leadership that rejects partnership is vulnerable to loneliness, exhaustion, and blind spots that can lead to downfall. Now, no great vision is ever accomplished alone. A leader may chart the course, but it takes a strong partnership to navigate the journey. The presence of the right woman does not diminish a man's authority, it solidifies it. True leadership embraces the power of unity, understanding that success is not in isolation, but in shared purpose and combined strength. A man's strength is not just measured by his physical ability or mental capacity, but also by his emotional and spiritual stability. Without balance in these areas, even the most powerful man can find himself overwhelmed, disconnected, and lost in the pursuit of success. Emotional and spiritual balance is not a luxury. It is a necessity for a fulfilling and purposeful life. When a man lacks this balance, he may become hardened by life's pressures, driven by ambition without peace, or isolated in his own struggles without an outlet for healing. A woman plays a crucial role in bringing this balance into a man's life. She carries an innate ability to sense the unspoken battles, to see beyond the exterior strength, and to nurture the areas of his life that often go neglected. Where a man may suppress his emotions, she creates a space for expression. Where he may carry burdens in silence, she offers comfort that strengthens him from within. She does not weaken him, she restores him, allowing him to face life's challenges with renewed energy and clarity. Spiritually, a woman has the ability to uplift and encourage a man to stay aligned with his purpose. When life's trials shake his faith, her words can serve as a reminder of his calling. Her presence challenges him to grow, to seek wisdom beyond himself, and to remain anchored in something greater than his own ambitions. Without this influence, a man may become consumed by external pursuits while neglecting the inner fulfillment that sustains true success. The absence of emotional and spiritual balance often leads to frustration, restlessness, and a sense of incompleteness. A man may gain the world but still feel empty if he lacks connection in these essential areas. True fulfillment is found not just in achieving, but in being whole, emotionally grounded, and spiritually secure. A man may have a vision that is grand, inspiring, and filled with potential, but without the right support, that vision can wither before it ever reaches fulfillment. A dream without the right foundation is nothing more than an idea waiting to fade. No man, no matter how gifted or determined, was ever meant to accomplish his purpose alone. The weight of a vision is too heavy to be carried by one set of shoulders, and the road to success is too long to be traveled in isolation. Support is not just about assistance, it is about alignment. A woman who believes in a man's vision does more than encourage him. She nurtures the dream, refines the details, and provides the strength needed to endure challenges. Where a man may see only the destination, she helps structure the journey. Where he may focus on execution, she brings wisdom to the process. Without this kind of support, a man's vision can become blurred by exhaustion, frustration, and the pressures of carrying it alone. A woman has the power to speak life into a man's dreams when doubts try to silence them. She sees beyond his struggles, reminding him of the greatness within when obstacles try to cloud his purpose. Without her, a man may start strong but struggle to sustain momentum. Many great men have fallen, not because they lacked ability, but because they lacked the right support system to keep them grounded and focused. Success is not just about having a vision, it is about having the endurance to see it through. A man with vision but without the right support will eventually experience burnout, discouragement, or stagnation. The right partnership does not compete with a man's dreams, it cultivates them, ensuring that what was once an idea becomes a lasting legacy. Isolation may appear to be a sign of strength, independence, or self-sufficiency, but in reality, it is one of the greatest threats to a man's potential. A man who chooses to walk alone may convince himself that solitude is a form of control, but over time, he will find that isolation does not make him stronger, it makes him vulnerable. No man was created to thrive in complete separation. The absence of partnership, companionship, and accountability creates an environment where his weaknesses are magnified, his blind spots go unchallenged, and his emotional burdens grow heavier. Isolation breeds stagnation. When a man is left alone with only his thoughts, his vision can become clouded and his direction can be lost. There is no one to challenge his thinking, to offer perspective, or to provide the wisdom that comes from shared experience. Without the right influence, a man can become hardened, closed off, and resistant to growth. He may believe he is protecting himself, But in truth, he is only depriving himself of the refinement that comes through meaningful relationships. A woman's presence brings balance to a man's life. She provides insight where he may have gaps, offers encouragement when he is weary, and speaks life into his purpose when he begins to doubt. She challenges him to become better, to think beyond himself, and to consider a broader perspective. Without this influence, a man may find himself emotionally detached, spiritually disconnected, and mentally exhausted. The danger of isolation is not just loneliness, it is the slow erosion of purpose. A man may achieve success, but without connection, that success feels empty. He may gain power, but without partnership, that power lacks fulfillment. Isolation does not protect a man. It weakens him by cutting him off from the very things that give life meaning and direction. Everything in creation has been designed with purpose, structure, and intentionality. Nothing exists by accident, and nothing thrives outside of its intended function. A man was never designed to walk through life alone, nor was he meant to operate in isolation. The divine design of humanity was built on the foundation of relationship, balance, and partnership. A man's strength, wisdom, and vision were never meant to be complete within himself, but rather to be refined, sharpened, and multiplied through the right connection. A woman was not created as an afterthought or an accessory to a man's journey. She was designed as an essential counterpart, a helper who brings completion, wisdom, and balance. The word helper does not imply weakness. It signifies a powerful, necessary role in bringing out the fullness of a man's potential. Where he may have direction, she brings structure. Where he has plans, she provides insight. Where he has effort, she nurtures results. This design was never meant to diminish the value of a man, but to enhance his ability to lead, build, and create legacy. To reject this divine order is to walk in struggle unnecessarily. Many men, in their pursuit of independence, unknowingly reject the very thing that would make them stronger. Strength is not found in standing alone, but in knowing how to walk effectively in partnership. The presence of a woman in a man's life is not a burden, but a gift, a divine strategy for ensuring that he reaches his highest level of purpose. To misunderstand this design is to limit oneself. To embrace it is to unlock a greater depth of wisdom, stability, and fulfillment. A man walking in divine order does not lose himself. He finds the fullest version of who he was always meant to be. A man's journey was never meant to be one of isolation, struggle, or incomplete purpose. The greatest deception is believing that success, strength, or leadership is best achieved alone. True power is not in standing apart, but in walking in divine alignment. A woman is not a distraction to a man's purpose. She is a multiplier of his potential, a nurturer of his vision, and a stabilizer of his destiny. Rejecting partnership is not a sign of strength, it is a forfeiture of the very design that was meant to elevate him. No man can fully reach his highest potential without embracing the completeness that comes through the right partnership. Isolation does not make a man wiser, it robs him of growth. Rejecting balance does not make him stronger, it leaves him vulnerable to his own blind spots. A man is not diminished by the presence of a woman. He is refined, sharpened, and empowered to become all he was created to be. It is time to shift the mindset that equates independence with fulfillment. True fulfillment is found in walking in divine order, understanding that strength is magnified in unity, and that legacy is not built in isolation. A man alone can run fast, but a man with the right partner can run far. A house may be built by one, but a home, a future, and a lasting impact require two. To reject what was divinely designed for you is to reject the fullness of your own destiny. Real wisdom is not just knowing where you are going, it is understanding who is meant to walk with you. Hello everyone, and welcome back. I am so grateful you have joined me today, and I can't wait to dive into something that has the power to change your life. You were not created to live in the shadows of someone else's opinions. You were not designed to shrink yourself, to apologize for your dreams, or to justify your existence to those who thrive on tearing you down. Let me tell you something profound. Toxic people don't deserve your explanations. They don't deserve your time, your energy, or your tears. Why? Because your life is not a courtroom and you are not on trial. Too many people spend their lives trying to prove their worth to those who are determined to misunderstand them. They waste precious hours explaining their choices, their dreams, and their decisions to people who have no intention of supporting them. But here's the truth. You don't owe anyone an explanation for being who you are. You don't owe anyone a justification for pursuing your purpose. Your life is not a debate, and your value is not up for discussion. Toxic people thrive on control. They feed on your need for approval, your desire to be understood, and your fear of rejection. But the moment you stop justifying yourself to them, you take back your power. You reclaim your voice. You remind yourself that your worth is not determined by their acceptance or their approval. You are enough, not because they say so, but because you were born enough. You were created with a purpose, and that purpose is not negotiable. Let me ask you this. Why would you hand over the keys to your happiness to someone who doesn't even know how to drive? Why would you allow someone who is broken, bitter, and toxic to dictate how you feel about yourself? You are not responsible for their brokenness. You are not their healer, their savior, or their punching bag. Your responsibility is to protect your peace, to guard your heart, and to focus on the assignment that has been placed on your life. Silence is one of the most powerful tools you have. When you stop engaging, when you stop explaining, and when you stop defending yourself, you take away their power. You send the message that their opinions no longer hold weight in your life. You declare that your time is too valuable to waste on negativity, and your energy is too precious to pour into empty arguments. Instead of justifying yourself to toxic people, invest in relationships that breathe life into you. Surround yourself with people who see your potential, who celebrate your victories, and who encourage you to keep going. Life is too short to spend it trying to convince others of your worth. You don't need their permission to be great. You don't need their approval to shine. Your worth is not a commodity to be traded, debated, or determined by the opinions of others. It is an inherent truth woven into the very fabric of your being. From the moment you took your first breath, you were endowed with value not because of what you could do, achieve, or prove, but simply because you exist. Yet, so many people fall into the trap of seeking validation from others, as if their worth is a prize to be earned or a badge to be awarded. This is a dangerous lie. Your worth is not defined by the applause of the crowd, the approval of your peers, or the acceptance of those who claim to know you. It is not measured by the number of likes on a post, the titles you hold, or the opinions of those who thrive on criticism. Toxic people in particular will try to convince you otherwise. They will question your choices, belittle your dreams, and undermine your confidence. They will make you feel as though you must constantly explain, defend, or justify yourself. But here's the truth. Their words are not a reflection of your value. They are a reflection of their own insecurities, fears, and limitations. When you allow others to define your worth, you hand over the pen to someone who has no right to write your story. You give them power they were never meant to have. Your worth is not up for debate. It is not something that can be diminished by someone else's negativity or amplified by their praise. It is a constant, unchanging truth that exists within you. You are valuable because you are you. No justification is needed. No explanation is required. The moment you stop seeking validation from others and start recognizing the worth that is already within you, you step into a freedom that cannot be taken away. You begin to live from a place of confidence, not from a place of fear. And that is where true power lies. Toxic people are like emotional black holes, sucking the light and energy out of every room they enter. They thrive on drama, negativity, and chaos. And they have an uncanny ability to turn even the most joyful moments into sources of stress and frustration. Engaging with them is like pouring water into a bucket with a hole in. No matter how much you give, is never enough. They demand your time, your attention, and your emotional resources, leaving you drained, exhausted, and depleted. The energy you spend trying to reason with them, justify yourself, or win their approval is energy that could be invested in your dreams, your goals, and your well-being. Toxic people don't just take your time, they take your peace. They create an environment of constant tension where you feel like you're walking on eggshells, always waiting for the next criticism, the next argument, or the next emotional outburst. This kind of environment is not just unpleasant, it's harmful. It chips away at your confidence, your creativity, and your ability to focus on what truly matters. What makes toxic people so draining is their inability to take responsibility for their own emotions and actions. They project their insecurities onto you, making you feel like you're the problem. They manipulate, guilt trip, and gaslight, leaving you questioning your own reality. The more you engage with them, the more they pull you into their web of negativity until you find yourself trapped in a cycle of exhaustion and frustration. The truth is, you cannot change toxic people. You cannot reason with someone who is determined to misunderstand you, and you cannot fill a cup that is designed to remain empty. The only way to protect your energy is to set boundaries. This doesn't mean you have to be cruel or dismissive. It simply means recognizing that your well-being is not negotiable. You have the right to walk away from situations and relationships that drain you. You have the right to prioritize your peace, your joy, and your purpose. Your energy is a precious resource, and it should be invested in people and pursuits that bring out the best in you, not those that leave you feeling empty and exhausted. You don't owe anyone an explanation for who you are, what you believe, or how you choose to live your life. Your choices, your dreams, and your path are yours alone, and they do not require the approval or understanding of others. Too often, we fall into the trap of feeling like we need to justify our Sylvesto, explain why we made a certain decision, why we're pursuing a particular goal, or why we've chosen to walk away from something or someone that no longer serves us. But the truth is, your life is not a public forum, and you are not obligated to defend your choices to anyone. Toxic people, in particular, will try to make you feel like you owe them an explanation. They will question your motives, criticize your decisions, and demand that you justify yourself to them. But here's the thing, their need for an explanation is not about you, it's about their desire for control. They want to keep you tethered to their opinions, their expectations, and their narrow view of the world. By demanding an explanation, they are trying to keep you small, to keep you doubting yourself, and to keep you from stepping into your full potential. The moment you realize that you don't owe anyone an explanation, you take back your power. You free yourself from the need to seek approval or validation from others. You give yourself permission to live authentically, to make choices that align with your values and your purpose, and to trust your own judgment. This doesn't mean you should be reckless or dismissive of others' feelings. It simply means recognizing that your life is your own and you have the right to live it on your own terms. Explaining yourself to toxic people is like trying to teach a fish to climb a tree. It's a futile exercise that only leaves you frustrated and exhausted. Instead of wasting your energy trying to make them understand, focus on living a life that speaks for itself. Let your actions, your character, and your integrity be your explanation. You are not responsible for how others perceive you or interpret your choices. Your only responsibility is to be true to yourself and to honor the unique path that has been laid out for you. Toxic people thrive on control because it gives them a false sense of power and security. They manipulate, criticize, and dominate others, to mask their own insecurities and fears. Their need to control is not about you. It's about their inability to manage their own emotions and circumstances. They project their chaos onto you, making you feel like you're the one who needs to change, to explain or to conform to their expectations. But the truth is, their behavior is a reflection of their own brokenness, not your worth or your value. When you engage with toxic people, you inadvertently feed their need for control. Every time you justify yourself, every time you try to reason with them, and every time you allow their opinions to dictate your actions, you hand over a piece of your autonomy. They thrive on this dynamic because it reinforces their belief that they have power over you. They use guilt, manipulation, and emotional blackmail to keep you tethered to their agenda, leaving you feeling trapped, frustrated, and powerless. The key to breaking free from their control is to recognize that you have a choice. You don't have to play by their rules. You don't have to respond to their demands or meet their expectations. You have the power to set boundaries, to say no, and to walk away from situations that no longer serve you. This doesn't mean you have to be confrontational or aggressive. It simply means reclaiming your right to live your life on your own terms. Toxic people will resist your attempts to break free. They may try to guilt trip you, gaslight you, or escalate their behavior to regain control. But the moment you stop engaging, the moment you stop giving them the reaction they crave, you take away their power. You send a clear message that their control over you ends here. Your life is not a stage for their drama, and your choices are not up for debate. You are the author of your own story, and no one else has the right to dictate how it unfolds. Focusing on your purpose is the ultimate antidote to the distractions and negativity that toxic people bring into your life. Your purpose is the compass that guides you, the fire that fuels you, and the reason you were put on this earth. It is the one thing that no one can take away from you, no matter how hard they try. When you are aligned with your purpose, the opinions, criticisms, and manipulations of toxic people lose their power. You stop wasting time defending yourself, explaining your choices, or seeking validation from those who don't understand or support you. Instead, you channel your energy into what truly matters, your dreams, your goals, and the impact you were born to make. Toxic people will always try to pull you off course. They will question your decisions, belittle your ambitions, and try to convince you that you're not good enough. But when you are focused on your purpose, their words become background noise. You realize that their negativity is not about you, it's about their own fears, insecurities, and limitations. You stop allowing their chaos to distract you from your mission. Instead, you use their doubt as fuel to propel you forward, reminding yourself that your purpose is bigger than their opinions. Your purpose is not just a destination, it's a journey. It's the daily choices you make, the habits you cultivate, and the mindset you adopt. It's about staying true to yourself, even when the world tries to pull you in 1,000 different directions. When you focus on your purpose, you become unstoppable. You stop seeking approval from those who don't matter and start living a life that is authentic, meaningful, and fulfilling. You realize that your time and energy are too precious to waste on people who don't share your vision or support your growth. The more you focus on your purpose, the more you attract people and opportunities that align with your values and aspirations. You create a life that is not defined by the negativity of others, but by the impact you were born to make. Your purpose is your power, and it is the key to living a life of freedom, fulfillment, and joy. Silence is one of the most powerful tools you have when dealing with toxic people. It is not a sign of weakness or surrender. It is a deliberate choice to disengage from their negativity and protect your peace. Toxic people thrive on conflict, drama, and attention. They want to pull you into arguments, force you to defend yourself, and make you react in ways that give them a sense of control. But when you respond with silence, you take away their power. You refuse to play their game, and you send a clear message that their words and actions no longer hold sway over you. Silence is not about ignoring the problem or pretending it doesn't exist. It's about recognizing that some battles are not worth fighting and some people are not worth engaging. It's about understanding that not every criticism deserves a response. Not every accusation requires a defense. And not every opinion warrants your energy. When you choose silence, you create space for clarity and perspective. You give yourself the opportunity to step back, to breathe, and to focus on what truly matters. Toxic people will often interpret your silence as a challenge. They may try to provoke you, escalate their behavior, or accuse you of being indifferent. But the truth is, your silence speaks volumes. It shows that you are secure in your worth, confident in your choices, and unwilling to be drawn into their chaos. It demonstrates that you value your peace more than their approval and that you are no longer willing to waste your energy on their negativity. Silence is also a form of self-respect. It is a way of saying, I am too focused on my purpose, my growth, and my well-being to be distracted by your drama. It is a declaration that your time and energy are precious and that you will not allow anyone to take them away from you. In a world that often values noise over substance, silence is a radical act of self-love and empowerment. It is a reminder that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing at all. Surrounding yourself with life givers is one of the most transformative decisions you can make for your growth, well-being, and happiness. Life givers are those rare individuals who uplift, inspire, and encourage you to become the best version of yourself. They see your potential even when you doubt it. Celebrate your victories no matter how small, and stand by you during your lowest moments. Unlike toxic people who drain your energy and dim your light, life givers pour into you, reminding you of your worth and helping you stay focused on your purpose. Life givers create an environment of positivity and possibility. They challenge you to dream bigger, work harder, and aim higher. Not out of criticism or comparison, but out of genuine belief in your abilities. They offer constructive feedback without tearing you down and provide support without expecting anything in return. Being around life givers feels like breathing fresh air. It rejuvenates you, energizes you, and fills you with hope. Their presence alone can shift your perspective, helping you see opportunities where others see obstacles and solutions where others see problems. Toxic people, on the other hand, thrive on negativity and limitation. They discourage, criticize, and undermine your confidence, leaving you feeling drained and defeated. Life givers, however, remind you that you are capable, worthy, and deserving of success. They help you silence the doubts that toxic people plant in your mind and replace them with confidence and courage. The people you surround yourself with have a profound impact on your mindset, your choices, and your destiny. Life givers inspire you to rise above challenges, pursue your passions, and live authentically. They remind you that you are not alone and that your dreams are worth fighting for. By intentionally choosing to surround yourself with life givers, you create a circle of support that empowers you to thrive. You deserve to be in relationships that bring out the best in you, that challenge you to grow, and that remind you of the incredible person you are. Life is too short to waste on people who don't add value to your journey. Choose life givers and watch how your world transforms. In the end, the way you live your life is a choice to either be weighed down by the negativity of toxic people or to rise above it and embrace the fullness of your potential. You were not created to justify your existence, to shrink yourself for the comfort of others, or to waste your energy on those who thrive on tearing you down. Your worth is inherent, your purpose is undeniable, and your dreams are valid. Stop giving power to those who don't deserve it. Stop allowing their toxicity to dictate your worth or derail your journey. Choose silence over arguments, boundaries over explanations, and purpose over distraction. Surround yourself with those who breathe life into your spirit, who see your greatness, and who encourage you to keep going. Remember, you are not responsible for the brokenness of others, but you are responsible for protecting your peace, pursuing your purpose, and living a life that reflects your true value. The world needs your light, your voice, and your unique contribution. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. Stand tall in your truth, walk boldly in your purpose, and never forget, you owe no one an explanation for being who you were created to be. Your life is yours to live unapologetically, authentically, and fully. So go out there and shine, because the best response to toxicity is a life well lived. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'm so grateful you have joined me today, and I can't wait to dive into something that has the power to change your life. There are moments in life when love does not always announce itself with words. Sometimes it hides in silence, in subtle actions, in the spaces between what is said and what is felt. A man who carries deep feelings for you may never verbalize them outright, but his heart will always betray him through his action. You will know by the way he listens, not just to respond, but to understand. He will remember the little things you say, the details others overlook, because to him, your voice is not just noise. It is meaning. He will hold on to your words as if they carry the weight of the world, because to him they do. He values what matters to you, because whether he admits it or not, you matter to him. You will notice how he protects you in ways that seem almost invisible. He will ensure you are safe, shield you from unnecessary burdens, and step in when you least expect it. A man who hides his love still acts like a guardian over your well-being, because his heart refuses to let you walk alone. He may not say, "I love you," but his actions will whisper it 1,000 times. There are times when his emotions will betray him. He may become nervous when he is near you, fumbling over words, or acting a little differently than he does with others. It is not because he lacks confidence. It is because he feels something too deep to control. A man who hides his love often fights a battle within himself between what he feels and what he fears. And even in his silence, you will feel his presence. He may not always express his emotions in grand declarations, but watch how he prioritizes your happiness. He will go out of his way to see you smile, even if it costs him something. Because to a man who truly loves, your joy is his reward. If you look closely, you will see the slight hesitation in his demeanor when another man captures your attention. He won't always voice his feelings, but his eyes will reveal what his lips refuse to say. He hides his jealousy not out of control, but out of fear. Fear that if he speaks too soon, he might lose what he treasures the most. Even when the world pulls him in 100 directions, he will still find time for you. No matter how busy he is, he will create moments that show you that your presence is not an option, but a priority. A man in love, even when silent, is never absent. And when words fail him, his soul will speak. His gestures, his touch, his silent companionship, these will tell you what he struggles to articulate. Love is not always loud. Sometimes it is the quiet devotion of a man who stands beside you, hoping you will one day see what he has been hiding all along. When a man hides deep feelings for you, his attention to your words and actions becomes undeniable. He listens in a way that makes you feel truly seen and understood. Unlike casual listeners who hear without processing, he absorbs everything you say. The little details, The stories you mention in passing, the preferences you barely acknowledge yourself, are etched into his memory. He recalls your favorite coffee order, the childhood dreams you once whispered, and even the way your mood shifts with the seasons. His interest goes beyond politeness. It is intentional. He notices when your tone changes, when a certain topic makes your eyes light up, or when something weighs heavy on your heart. He asks about things others forget, not because he is trying to impress you, but because what matters to you matters to him. He pays attention to the moments you brush off, the way you react in different situations, and the way you carry yourself in a crowd. His eyes study you with silent admiration, taking in every detail without making it obvious. Even in group settings, his focus subtly lingers on you. When you speak, he leans in slightly, his body naturally drawn to your presence. He listens to you with full presence, not distracted by his phone or the noise around him. When you laugh, he watches, not just because he enjoys the sound, but because he finds joy in your happiness. Beyond listening, his actions mirror his attentiveness. He adjusts his behavior based on your unspoken needs. If you mention feeling cold, he offers his jacket before you even ask. If you say you love a certain song, he remembers it and plays it later, as if to remind you that your words never go unnoticed. A man who hides deep feelings for you will not always say how much he cares, but his actions will reveal it through the quiet ways he protects you. His protection is not loud or controlling. It is thoughtful and intentional. He watches over you in ways that you may not even notice, ensuring your well-being without making a grand display of it. He is the kind of man who instinctively walks on the side of the road closest to traffic when you're together without mentioning why. When you are in a crowded place, he positions himself in a way that shields you from discomfort. If he senses that someone is making you uneasy, he subtly steps in, not with aggression, but with presence. He doesn't need to fight battles for you, but he makes sure you never feel alone in facing them. His concern shows up in everyday situations. If he notices that you're tired, he encourages you to rest. If he sees you overwhelmed, he offers solutions or simply stands by your side in quiet support. He anticipates your needs before you express them, whether it's reminding you to eat when you're too busy or ensuring you get home safely after a long day. His protection is not about control, but about care. Even in moments of emotional struggle, he shields you in ways words cannot describe. He is careful with how he speaks to you, never wanting to be the reason for your hurt. He listens with patience, offering reassurance without demanding anything in return. His silent protection is his way of saying, you are valuable to me, even if I never find the courage to say it aloud. When a man hides deep feelings for you, his emotions often betray him through nervousness or awkwardness in your presence. He may appear confident around others, but when he's with you, there's a shift. His usual composure wavers, and his actions become slightly uncoordinated. It's not because he lacks confidence, but because he is hyper aware of every moment with you. You might notice how his hands fidget when he speaks, how he adjusts his posture repeatedly, or how he suddenly forgets what he was about to say. His voice may change in tone, sometimes softer, sometimes unsteady. There are moments when he avoids direct eye contact, not because he isn't interested, but because looking at you makes his feelings harder to control. Yet in the next moment, he might steal glances when he thinks you're not watching. His words don't always come out smoothly. He may stumble over a sentence or laugh at something that wasn't particularly funny just to fill the silence. If you ask him a direct question about his emotions, he might give a vague response, not because he wants to deceive you, but because he isn't sure how much to reveal. His heart and mind are in conflict. He wants to be close to you, yet he fears exposing the depth of his emotions too soon. In group settings, he may act differently when you're around. He either becomes quieter, more reserved, or overcompensates by talking too much. His friends might even tease him about his behavior, sensing the change he tries to conceal. His nervousness is not a sign of weakness. It is a silent confession that he feels something strong, but is unsure if he has the right to express it. When a man hides deep feelings for you, one of the clearest signs is how much he prioritizes your happiness. He may not always say how he feels, but his actions reveal that your joy is important to him. Sometimes even more than his own. Without asking for recognition, he goes out of his way to make sure you feel valued, safe, and appreciated. He pays attention to the little things that bring you joy. If he notices that you love a particular dessert, he surprises you with it. If he knows you've had a tough day, he finds a way to lighten your mood, whether through a small joke, a thoughtful message, or simply being there in silence when you need comfort. He listens carefully to what makes you happy and makes an effort to bring more of that into your life. Even when he is busy, he makes time for you. His schedule may be packed, but he finds ways to check in on you, ensuring that you are doing well. He remembers the things that matter to you, not because he has to, but because he genuinely wants to see you smile. Your emotions affect him more than he lets on. If he senses that something is wrong, he cannot ignore it. He will subtly try to fix the problem, or at least be present, so that you don't have to face it alone. His happiness is tied to yours. When you achieve something, he celebrates with you as if it were his own victory. When you are sad, he feels the weight of your emotions. Even if he hides his feelings, his heart cannot help but prioritize yours, revealing just how much you mean to him. When a man hides deep feelings for you, jealousy is one of the emotions he struggles to conceal. He may not openly express his possessiveness, but his reactions will betray what he tries to suppress. His body language, facial expressions, and subtle changes in behavior will reveal his discomfort when another man captures your attention. You may notice a shift in his mood when you mention someone else, even casually. He may suddenly go quiet, change the subject, or make an offhand remark to downplay his feelings. He won't confront you directly about it, but his energy shifts. If he was previously engaged in a conversation, he might lose focus, becoming unusually reserved or distant. Other times, he may overcompensate by acting indifferent, pretending not to care while subtly watching your reaction. In group settings, he pays close attention to how other men interact with you. If someone gets too close or makes you laugh a little too much, he might find an excuse to insert himself into the moment. He won't be aggressive or controlling, but he will subtly reclaim his presence, ensuring you don't forget he's there. He may suddenly become funnier, more engaging, or shift his posture to establish his presence. Even if he never voices his jealousy, his protectiveness will increase. He might ask innocent questions about the other person, not because he's nosy, but because he's trying to gauge where he stands. He won't admit his feelings outright, but his silent frustration speaks volumes. His jealousy is not rooted in insecurity. It is the natural reaction of a man who cares more than he is willing to say. When a man hides deep feelings for you, one of the clearest signs is that no matter how busy he is, he always makes time for you. His schedule might be packed with responsibilities, deadlines, and commitments, but somehow he finds a way to be present in your life. He won't always say how much he cares, but his actions will reveal that you are a priority, not an afterthought. Even on his busiest days, he checks in on you. A simple message, a quick call, or even an unexpected visit. These are his ways of reminding you that you are on his mind. If he knows you are going through a rough time, he won't wait for you to ask for support. He will be there, even if it means adjusting his own plans. He does not make excuses or say he is too busy to talk. Instead, he finds moments to be there for you, no matter how small. If you need help with something, he will step in, even if it means sacrificing his own time. He might be exhausted, overwhelmed with work, or pressed for time, but when it comes to you, he will always carve out space in his day. His presence is never forced, it is intentional. He does not just fit you into his life when it's convenient. He makes an effort because he values you more than he lets on. His consistency speaks louder than words. When a man truly cares, he will show up even when it's difficult. He does not wait for the perfect moment. He creates it. His time is valuable, and the fact that he gives it to you, even in the midst of his own chaos, is proof that you hold a special place in his heart. When a man hides deep feelings for you, his emotions often surface in ways beyond words. His silence speaks volumes, and his unspoken gestures reveal more than he dares to admit. Love, when unexpressed verbally, still finds a way to communicate through the eyes, the touch, and the simple presence of someone who cares more than he lets on. His eyes tell a story of their own. He watches you when he thinks you're not looking, studying your expressions, noticing the smallest details. When you speak, he holds your gaze longer than necessary, as if memorizing every word, every movement. And when you're near, his body naturally gravitates toward yours, leaning in ever so slightly, positioning himself to be close without making it obvious. His actions become a language of their own. He will offer you his jacket without thinking, place his hand gently on your back to guide you through a crowd, or instinctively step in to help you with things before you even ask. He listens, not just to your words, but to your silence, sensing when you need comfort without you having to explain. Even his absence says something. When he is quiet, it's not because he does not care. It's because he is processing emotions he isn't ready to share. But when you need him, he always shows up, proving through his presence what he struggles to express through words. The way he communicates is subtle but undeniable. His love is not loud. It is steady, woven into the little things he does, the way he looks at you, the way he silently supports you. He does not need to say, "I care about you." His every action already proves it. When a man hides deep feelings for you, his words may be few, but his actions will always reveal the truth. Love, even when unspoken, has a way of making itself known. It shows up in his attention to detail, in the way he protects you without asking for credit, in his nervousness, his jealousy, his time, and in the silent ways he communicates. A man who truly cares will not always declare his feelings with grand speeches, but his consistency, his presence, and his quiet sacrifices will speak louder than any words ever could. Pay attention to how he treats you, not just what he says. True affection is never just about the words. It's about the effort, the respect, and the quiet, unwavering commitment. The strongest love is not always the loudest. Sometimes it's found in the moments where actions speak, where words fail.